Money doesn't come when you chase it. It comes the moment a hidden inner door opens. You can work harder, pray longer, and plan smarter. But if this door stays shut, wealth will always feel just out of reach. The truth is simple and uncomfortable. Money arrives when you are internally ready to receive it. Money does not arrive by force. It arrives by agreement. Many people believe wealth is something to be hunted, captured, or wrestled from the world. That belief alone creates resistance. When money is treated like something hostile or scarce, the inner world tightens. The body carries tension. The mind stays alert. The heart closes slightly. And money, which moves toward openness and stability, senses that tension and stays away. Inner permission is not spoken out loud. It is not a statement or an affirmation repeated in the mirror. It is a quiet internal decision that says, "It is safe for me to have more." When that decision is missing, effort increases but results do not. When it is present, even small actions produce disproportionate outcomes. Inner permission begins with emotional safety. If money is associated with fear, fear of losing it, fear of being judged for having it, fear of becoming someone unrecognizable, then the nervous system treats wealth as a threat, and the nervous system always wins. It will unconsciously sabotage opportunities, delay decisions, and drain motivation to protect what it believes is survival. This is why some people work endlessly and still feel stuck, while others move gently and attract support. The difference is not intelligence or effort, it is internal allowance. When inner permission is absent, people often say they want more money while emotionally bracing against it. They imagine success and immediately imagine the pressure that comes with it. They imagine abundance and instantly imagine responsibility, conflict, or loss. The mind may desire wealth, but the body rejects it. And money follows the body, not the words. True permission feels calm. It does not beg. It does not rush. It does not try to prove anything. It simply allows. When you allow something, you stop arguing with its arrival. You stop questioning whether it should come now or later. You stop asking whether you deserve it enough yet. You let it come in the timing and form that aligns naturally. This is why desperation blocks money. Desperation is energetic pressure. It is a signal of lack. It tells life, "I am not okay without this." And life does not reward instability with expansion. It waits until balance returns. Inner permission also dissolves guilt. Many people unconsciously feel that wanting more is wrong. They associate wealth with greed, arrogance, or spiritual failure. Even if they never say this openly, it lives quietly inside them. As long as that association exists, money will feel like a violation rather than a gift. Permission means releasing moral conflict. It means understanding that money is neutral. It does not make someone good or bad. It simply magnifies what is already there. When that understanding settles deeply, resistance disappears. Another layer of permission is trust. Trust that money can come without destroying peace. Trust that having more will not take something sacred away. Trust that abundance does not require suffering as payment. Many people unconsciously believe that struggle is the price of worthiness. When ease appears, they question it. When money flows smoothly, they feel suspicious. Money avoids environments where it is mistrusted. It flows where it is welcomed calmly, respected wisely, and used with clarity. Inner permission also changes behavior subtly. When someone allows money internally, they stop overthinking opportunities. They stop hesitating at critical moments. They stop undercharging, shrinking, or apologizing for value. They make decisions from confidence rather than fear. And here is the most important truth: money often arrives after permission, not before it. People wait for evidence to feel safe. But safety must come first. The inner door must open before the outer door responds. People rarely earn beyond what they believe they are. Even when they do, it rarely lasts. Money that exceeds identity feels unstable. It creates anxiety, fear of loss, and self-sabotage. Eventually, it finds a way to leave. Identity is the internal answer to the question, who am I in the world? Am I someone who survives or someone who builds? Am I someone who struggles or someone who expands? Am I someone who waits or someone who leads? These answers operate quietly in the background of every decision. They determine what feels normal, what feels risky, and what feels impossible. If someone sees themselves as someone who just gets by, then opportunities that lead beyond that level will feel uncomfortable. Even if they appear attractive, something inside will hesitate. The mind will find reasons to delay, doubt, or decline. Money respects identity more than desire. Desire says, I want this. Identity says, this belongs to me. Money moves toward belonging. This is why affirmations fail when identity is unchanged. Saying, I am abundant, does nothing if the internal image still feels small, dependent, or insecure. The nervous system does not respond to words. It responds to self-concept. Identity forms early and reinforces itself through experience. Past failures, family beliefs, social conditioning, and cultural narratives all shape what feels possible. Over time, this becomes invisible. People stop questioning it and start living inside it. But identity is not fixed. It is learned. And what is learned can be unlearned. Rising identity does not mean pretending to be confident. It means expanding what feels natural. It means gradually normalizing success, responsibility, and leadership. It means seeing oneself as capable of holding more without collapsing. One of the clearest signs of identity mismatch is discomfort with growth. When income increases slightly and stress increases dramatically, identity has been exceeded. The solution is not to push harder. The solution is to stabilize self-image at a higher level. People with aligned identity do not feel shocked by money. They feel grounded. They do not panic when abundance arrives. They manage it with clarity. They do not fear losing it constantly because they trust their ability to create again. This trust is crucial. Money does not want to stay where it is feared. It stays where it is understood as renewable. When someone believes money can return, they stop clinging to it. And ironically, that is when it stays longer. Identity also affects value exchange. People earn in proportion to how valuable they believe they are. If someone underestimates their contribution, they will tolerate underpayment. If they overextend to prove worth, they will burn out. Balanced identity creates balanced income. When identity shifts, choices shift. Boundaries improve, standards rise, time is respected, energy is protected, and money responds to that structure. The highest earners are not the most desperate. They are the most self-aligned. They know who they are, what they offer, and what they accept. This clarity creates trust. Trust attracts opportunity. Ultimately, income is not something to chase. It is something to become compatible with. When inner permission opens and identity expands, money no longer feels like a stranger. It feels like a natural extension of who you are becoming. And when money recognizes itself in you, it comes quietly, steadily, and repeatedly. Most people believe fear looks dramatic, panic, anxiety, or obvious worry. But the fear that blocks money is often subtle. It hides behind logic, caution, and being realistic. It sounds responsible, even wise. Yet its effect is the same: contraction. Fear tells the nervous system to protect, not to expand. And money, which requires openness and movement, does not flow into spaces that are bracing for danger. One of the most common fears is the fear of loss. Not just losing money, but losing stability, reputation, relationships, or control. When someone imagines having more and immediately imagines losing it, the body registers threat. That threat response creates hesitation. Opportunities are delayed. Decisions are postponed. Action becomes half-hearted. Another quiet fear is the fear of responsibility. More money often means more visibility, more choices, more consequences. If responsibility feels overwhelming, the subconscious will cap income at a level that feels manageable. This is not laziness. It is protection. Fear also shows up as overthinking. Every opportunity is analyzed endlessly. Every risk is magnified. Every decision must feel perfectly safe before it is taken. But growth is never perfectly safe. It requires trust, and fear resists trust at all costs. There is also the fear of judgment. Many people are afraid of how others will see them if they succeed. They fear envy, criticism, or being misunderstood. To avoid that discomfort, they unconsciously stay small. Money senses this ambivalence and waits. Fear closes the door because it creates inner conflict. Part of the mind wants expansion. Another part wants safety. The nervous system chooses safety every time. Until safety is redefined, abundance remains distant. Safety must shift from having less to being capable. When safety is tied to low risk, income stays low. When safety is tied to self-trust, income can rise. This is why fear must be met with understanding, not force. Trying to push through fear only strengthens it. Fear dissolves when it feels heard and reassured. When the body learns that expansion does not equal danger, the door begins to open again. Another form of fear is attachment. Clinging tightly to money. Monitoring every expense obsessively and feeling anxious about spending all communicate scarcity. This tension tells money it is not welcome. It is feared. And money avoids places where it is feared. Paradoxically, calm respect attracts wealth more than anxious control. When someone treats money as something stable and renewable, the nervous system relaxes. Relaxation invites flow. Fear also blocks creativity. When the mind is in survival mode, it cannot see new paths. It repeats familiar patterns. It plays small, but money often arrives through innovation. Risk and bold thinking. Fear narrows vision. Calm expands it. The door to abundance opens not when fear disappears completely, but when fear no longer leads. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement without surrendering to it. When fear is gently acknowledged and authority is reclaimed, money begins to feel safe again. And when money feels safe, it moves closer. There is a deep cultural narrative that says struggle equals virtue. Hardship equals worthiness. Ease equals laziness or luck. Even when people consciously reject this idea, it often lives quietly in the subconscious. When ease feels wrong, abundance feels suspicious. If something comes too smoothly, it is questioned. If money arrives without exhaustion, guilt appears. This guilt creates self-sabotage. Opportunities are minimized. Success is downplayed. Growth is slowed. Ease does not mean absence of effort. It means absence of inner resistance. It means moving in alignment rather than force. When effort aligns with values and strengths, it feels lighter. And lighter energy attracts more. Struggle is often mistaken for commitment. People believe that if something does not hurt, it does not count. But pain is not proof of value. Effectiveness is. Money responds to clarity, not suffering. It responds to solutions, not exhaustion. It responds to alignment, not martyrdom. When ease is rejected, people unconsciously create problems to justify their worth. They overcomplicate. They delay. They choose difficult paths to feel deserving. This keeps income tied to burnout rather than flow. Ease also challenges identity. If someone sees themselves as a struggler, ease threatens that self-image. Without struggle, who am I? This question creates discomfort. To avoid it, ease is avoided. Accepting ease requires maturity. It requires trusting that value does not come from pain. It requires allowing results without punishment. Ease also expands capacity. When energy is conserved instead of drained, creativity increases. Presence improves. Decision-making sharpens. And money responds to these qualities quickly. Many breakthroughs arrive not through pushing harder, but through letting go. Letting go of proving. Letting go of forcing. Letting go of the belief that suffering is spiritual or noble. Ease invites receptivity. When someone is relaxed, they notice opportunities they would otherwise miss. They listen better. They connect more deeply. They attract support. Money often arrives through collaboration, timing, and intuition. These require space. Struggle crowds that space with noise. Ease also removes resentment. When work is aligned, resentment dissolves, and resentment is a major money blocker. Money does not stay where it is resented or resented to be earned. Choosing ease is not choosing comfort over growth. It is choosing alignment over resistance. Growth can still be challenging, but it no longer feels punishing. When ease is accepted as natural rather than sinful, the inner world softens, the body relaxes, the mind opens, and money responds to that openness. The greatest shift happens when someone allows success to feel normal. When achievement no longer requires suffering to feel legitimate. When abundance no longer requires apology. Many people desire money intensely. They think about it constantly. They imagine what life would be like with more. They speak about wanting abundance, freedom, and security. Yet despite this desire, money remains inconsistent or distant. The reason is simple: desire alone does not attract. Expectation does. Desire says, I want what I do not have. Expectation says, this is normal for me. Money responds to what feels normal, not what feels urgent. When desire is mixed with urgency, it creates pressure. Pressure communicates lack. It signals that something is missing and must arrive immediately to fix discomfort. Money does not move toward discomfort. It waits for stability. Expectation, on the other hand, is relaxed. It does not beg or chase. It does not demand timelines. It assumes arrival without emotional charge. This calm assumption creates alignment between the mind and the nervous system. Expectation is formed through self-trust. When someone trusts their ability to create, adapt, and recover, they stop clinging to outcomes. They expect results because they expect themselves to respond wisely. This internal confidence removes desperation. Many people unknowingly cancel their desires through inner contradiction. They say they want more, but they expect disappointment. They prepare emotionally for failure. They imagine obstacles more vividly than success. This expectation becomes the instruction life follows. Expectation shapes behavior subtly. Someone who expects success shows up differently. They prepare more calmly. They take action without overthinking. They persist without emotional exhaustion. Their tone, posture, and decisions communicate certainty. Money notices certainty. It flows toward environments where outcomes are assumed rather than questioned. Expectation is not fantasy. It is not pretending everything will work without effort. It is an internal posture that says, results are possible, and I can handle the process. This posture keeps energy steady even when progress is slow. Another difference between desire and expectation is patience. Desire wants immediate relief. Expectation allows time. When someone expects money to come, they are not threatened by delay. They remain grounded, and this grounded state keeps opportunities alive. Desire without expectation often leads to impulsive decisions. People chase shortcuts. They jump between ideas. They abandon projects too early. Expectation creates consistency. Consistency builds trust. Trust attracts resources. Expectation also dissolves comparison. When someone expects their own success, they are less distracted by others. They do not measure their worth against someone else's timeline. This focus conserves energy. At its highest level, expectation becomes quiet certainty. There is no emotional spike when imagining abundance, no anxiety, no overexcitement, just recognition. This recognition is powerful. Money often arrives when someone stops emotionally reaching for it. When they stop asking when and start living as if it will. That shift is subtle but decisive. Many people fear money because they believe it will change them. They worry they will become greedy, careless, or disconnected. This fear alone blocks abundance. But money does not impose qualities. It magnifies existing ones. If someone is generous, money amplifies generosity. If someone is anxious, money amplifies anxiety. If someone is responsible, money amplifies responsibility. This is why money feels unsafe to those who do not trust themselves. If there is unresolved inner conflict, money feels like fuel on a fire. The subconscious avoids it to prevent chaos. Trusting oneself is essential for wealth. When someone believes they can handle more without losing balance, money feels safer to approach. Stability invites expansion. Money also amplifies awareness. It removes excuses. With more resources, the truth becomes clearer. This clarity can feel uncomfortable if someone avoids self-reflection. But it is also liberating. Because money magnifies, it requires inner integrity. Not perfection, but honesty. When actions align with values, money strengthens alignment. When actions contradict values, money creates friction. This is why people who grow internally often experience smoother financial expansion. Their inner world can hold what arrives externally. Money also amplifies patterns. If someone overspends emotionally, more money increases overspending. If someone invests thoughtfully, more money increases growth. The pattern is not in the money, it is in the person. Understanding this removes fear. Money becomes a mirror, not a threat. When someone sees money as feedback rather than identity, they gain power over it. Money also amplifies impact. With resources, choices affect more people. This responsibility can feel heavy to those who doubt themselves. But for those grounded in purpose, it feels meaningful. This is why purpose matters. When someone knows why they want more, money becomes directional. It flows into service, creation, and contribution. Without purpose, money feels aimless and unstable. Money also amplifies energy. Calm becomes calmer, chaos becomes louder. This is why inner regulation is crucial. When someone learns to manage emotions without external crutches, money no longer destabilizes them. Many people block money because they fear exposure. With more wealth comes visibility. Visibility reveals patterns. But hiding does not create safety. Integration does. When someone integrates their strengths and weaknesses honestly, money feels like a tool rather than a test. It supports growth rather than threatening it. The most peaceful relationship with money comes from self-acceptance. When someone accepts who they are and commits to growth, money becomes an ally. It funds evolution rather than conflict. Money does not demand perfection. It demands capacity. Capacity is built through awareness, discipline, and self-trust. When these qualities are present, money does not overwhelm. It amplifies clarity, freedom, and impact. And when someone realizes that money only reflects who they already are, fear dissolves, resistance fades, and the inner door stays open. Most people are taught how to work. Very few are taught how to receive. From an early age, effort is praised, struggle is admired, giving is celebrated, but receiving is often misunderstood. It is associated with weakness, dependency, or unworthiness. As a result, many people block abundance not because they cannot create value, but because they cannot receive the return. Receiving is not passive. It is an active internal posture. It requires openness, presence, and trust. When receiving is unpracticed, even gifts feel uncomfortable. Compliments are dismissed. Help is refused. Opportunities are minimized. Money follows the same pattern. When someone does not know how to receive, abundance becomes awkward. The body tightens. The mind looks for reasons to reject or delay. There is a subtle urge to give something back immediately, as if balance must be restored instantly. This creates exhaustion and prevents accumulation. Receiving begins with worthiness. Not the kind that must be proven, but the kind that is assumed. When worthiness is conditional, receiving feels risky. There is fear of being exposed, indebted, or undeserving. Money does not stay where it feels it must justify its presence. Another barrier to receiving is control. Some people feel safe only when they are the provider. Receiving requires vulnerability. It requires allowing life to support you. For those who equate control with safety, receiving feels like loss of power. But true power includes receptivity. Just as breathing requires both inhaling and exhaling, abundance requires giving and receiving. One without the other creates imbalance. Receiving also requires slowing down. When someone is constantly rushing, they miss signals of support. They overlook opportunities because they are focused only on effort. Stillness allows awareness. Awareness invites flow. Many people unknowingly block receiving through overgiving. They give time, energy, and resources beyond capacity. This creates resentment. Resentment closes the heart. A closed heart cannot receive fully. Healthy receiving is reciprocal, not sacrificial. It allows exchange without depletion. When someone receives without guilt, energy stays balanced, and money responds to balance. Receiving also involves holding. Some people receive briefly, but cannot hold abundance. Money comes and goes quickly. This happens when internal stability is missing. Receiving requires containment, the ability to hold without panic, impulse, or fear. Containment grows through self-regulation. When emotions are steady, money feels safe to stay. When emotions swing wildly, money moves through but does not remain. Practicing receiving starts small. Accepting compliments without deflection. Accepting help without apology. Accepting rest without guilt. These micro shifts train the nervous system to tolerate support. As receiving becomes natural, money experiences less resistance. It no longer feels like an intruder. It feels like a guest welcomed calmly. Receiving is also about timing. Sometimes abundance arrives before confidence feels complete. Receiving means trusting that growth will catch up. It means allowing expansion without demanding perfection first. Those who master receiving do not cling. They allow flow. They understand that receiving is not hoarding, it is circulation. And when receiving becomes skillful, money recognizes a stable home. Money does not respond to force. It responds to coherence. Alignment is when thoughts, emotions, actions, and values move in the same direction. When alignment is present, energy flows smoothly. When it is missing, effort increases but results scatter. Many people try to attract money while living in contradiction. They say they want abundance but resent successful people. They seek freedom but fear responsibility. They desire growth but avoid discomfort. These contradictions create energetic noise. Money avoids noise. It moves toward clarity. Alignment begins internally. When values are clear, decisions become simpler. When decisions are simple, actions become consistent. Consistency builds trust. Trust attracts opportunity. Alignment also reduces friction. When someone works against their nature, everything feels heavy. When they work with their strengths, momentum builds. Money follows momentum. Misalignment often shows up as chronic exhaustion. Not the healthy tiredness of effort, but the draining fatigue of resistance. Resistance signals that something is off. Money reads resistance as instability. Alignment does not mean everything feels easy. It means effort feels meaningful. Challenges feel purposeful rather than punishing. This distinction matters deeply. When aligned, intuition sharpens. Choices feel clearer. Timing improves. Opportunities appear at the right moment. This is not luck, it is sensitivity. Money often arrives through people. Alignment improves relationships. Communication becomes cleaner. Boundaries become clearer. These qualities create trust. And trust is the currency money follows. Alignment also requires honesty. Pretending to want something you do not truly value creates inner conflict. Money does not support false goals. It supports authentic ones. When goals reflect genuine values, motivation becomes sustainable. Sustainability attracts long-term abundance rather than short bursts. Alignment also stabilizes self-image. When actions match identity, confidence grows. Confidence reduces hesitation. Reduced hesitation increases effectiveness. Many people chase money through strategies that contradict their nature. They copy paths that worked for others but feel wrong internally. This creates struggle. Money may come briefly, but it does not stay. Alignment invites a personalized path. When someone honors their own rhythm, skills, and values, money arrives in forms that fit naturally. Alignment also means respecting energy. Overworking out of fear creates imbalance. Underworking out of avoidance creates stagnation. Balanced effort creates flow. When alignment is present, there is less need to convince. People feel authenticity. Authenticity attracts support. Money is drawn to environments where integrity is strong. Integrity is alignment in action. When thoughts say one thing, emotions support it, and actions confirm it, life responds. Money responds. Alignment turns effort into invitation. It removes the push. It creates pull. And when alignment becomes a way of life, abundance